Power crews are making progress across Central Virginia and the Valley. Thousands of customers in the dark is down to hundreds. State lawmakers are making moves to help people with affordable housing. Hear how it could impact the Charlottesville area. Plus, the trash truck driver accused of causing a deadly crash with an oncoming train faces an Albemarle County jury.
Live in high definition from the area's most experienced news team, this is NBC29 HD News at 6.
It is just not worth it to me not to have a body camera.
First tonight, law enforcement agencies in Central Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley reveal the hidden costs of body cameras. A recording of any encounter between a police officer and someone else can be priceless evidence. Yeah, tonight at least one sheriff's office says it cannot expand the program because of costs, and others are weighing the increasing price tag to keep that service going. NBC29's Henry Graff spoke with several police departments and sheriff's offices about this new issue, and he's here with this in-depth investigation.
So everybody I talk with here all tell me the same thing. First and foremost, body cameras are worth the cost. The new question here, though, is what's the cutoff for those costs, because the costs don't stop racking up once those police body cameras stop rolling.
Just talk to me, man. Just talk to me, okay?
This dangerous domestic turned to standoff with tasers led to an arrest and conviction for the Louisa County Sheriff's Office.
Gonna step up for me, okay? We're gonna sit in the back of my car. Ready? I'm gonna help you
Thanks
out.
in part to this frame-by-frame evidence from body-worn cameras, something these Louisa deputies did not have 5 years ago.
It's valuable information, you know, when you pick it up, but gosh, it's so expensive.
It's a challenge to find funding. Just ask Major Donald Lowe as he tallies up the increasing costs.
These things wear out. You need new batteries, you need new cartridges, you need all this stuff for it.
Lowe says the costs have almost tripled from $22,000 per year to a projected $78,000. And that's forced them to contemplate cutting the program.
And that's crossed our mind too.
An NBC29 investigation reveals Louisa spends the most on its program at nearly $2,000 per camera per year. Compare that to Fluvanna at $500, Waynesboro $400 per cam, and Charlottesville at $360. Greene comes in at the cheapest at $108 per camera annually.
Well, the bill's not as big because you don't have as many people, but still, when you're outfitting 20 deputies, it's quite a cost.
Technology costs are always going to increase, and that's always going to be a concern. But again, it goes back to what does the community want?
The police body camera programs we reviewed widely vary. Some involve burning videos to discs like in Greene. But here in Fluvanna, when a deputy pulls up to the building, their video files are wirelessly transferred to a computer.
It's all HD quality video, so as you can imagine, that's a lot of data storage that we have to manage.
That's brought about another hidden cost in Fluvanna. Captain David Wells says the office just dropped $9 grand on a new server. It's the third upgrade needed in 4 years.
It's a great insurance policy, but it's an expensive insurance policy.
Charlottesville Police Chief Rochelle Brackney says the community she serves demands transparency. So she will move around whatever money to keep these cameras rolling, despite the added responsibility and expense. She has to make it work, even though she says her department is just realizing the fine print.
Well, on the surface, it feels like a very good idea. Well, we get free equipment, and then on the back end, you don't understand the cost associated with storing them, downloading, the training, the policies.
Despite that reality,
chest, and then right here.
Back in Louisa, Major Lowe wants to triple his body-worn camera program.
A video is a video. It doesn't lie. It captures everything.
So that all 40 of his deputies will have this priceless tool.
194 Louisa, I'm on location.
To capture a call from the time they pull up.
All right, watch your head.
Until the time it's cleared.
So we're trying to be as transparent as possible and everything, but it's all on, can you afford?
Major Lowe says his office may resort to asking for donations to expand the body camera program. All agencies we spoke with also noted the number of complaints against officers went down with the use of cameras. Now, policy is another issue here. There's no real laws on the books here in Virginia that kind of govern how all this should be handled. So each agency has its own policies and can widely differ. Some keep their videos for 90 days, say like in Greene County. Others
keep that evidence for years, which may also explain some of the differing costs we saw in this investigation.
And it's not just the departments that like the idea of having it. A lot of communities want their police departments to have this.
Yeah, and you heard that from Chief Brackney, where, I mean, this community here in Charlottesville, for example, really demands that kind of transparency. And now we're getting to a point where some of these departments and offices want to expand the program, and they really can't because these costs keep rising and they got to store all this stuff somewhere.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Henry. Well, the first day of trial is wrapped up in the case against the trash truck driver accused of causing the crash with an Amtrak train that killed a trash worker and injured another.
So far, we've heard from about a dozen witnesses and seen some videotaped evidence. NBC29's Megan Moriarty is tracking the new details in this case. She's live in our newsroom with more. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Stephen. Casey. Late this afternoon, jurors watched video of the crash from the sky. A helicopter following the congressman that day captured it all on video. Jurors also saw a video from the train's perspective. There was a camera mounted on the side there, and it captures everything up until the crash, actually. So what you'll see in the video was that the train is moving at a fast clip and the trash truck sitting on the tracks. Crossing arms are down and lights are flashing. Dana Naylor Jr. was driving the truck. The 31-year-old is charged with involuntary manslaughter for the death of his co-worker, Christopher Foley, and DUI maiming for injuries sustained by the third worker, Dennis Eddy. One of the 12 witnesses we heard from today, most were law enforcement officials, Amtrak operators, and first responders on the scene that day. Several people who came in contact with Naylor that day say he made statements like, "My life is over and I shouldn't have tried to beat the train." Now, later on in the case, we are expecting to hear from an expert about the blood test that was taken after the crash. NBC29 has previously reported and seen that blood test, and we saw high levels of THC in Naylor's system via that paperwork there. Court has wrapped up for the day and is expected to get underway again tomorrow at 9:30.
Live in our newsroom tonight, Megan, thank you.
A man accused of murdering his girlfriend in Stanton avoided a jury trial today and pleaded guilty. 23-year-old Orion Painter admitted to second-degree murder and using a firearm in the commission of a felony. He shot 37-year-old Melanie Wade in the head at a home on South Sheets Street 1 year ago. She died at UVA Medical Center the next day. Painter could face anywhere from 8 to 43 years behind bars when he is sentenced.
Charges against a Waynesboro man tied to a death investigation are dropped for now. The medical examiner could not determine a cause of death. 41-year-old Sarah Elizabeth Connor. The Waynesboro woman's body was found Saturday in the woods off of Ludewitt Boulevard. So for now, charges against Douglas John LaPera are dropped, although he is still being held on an unrelated warrant. Authorities say once they get a full autopsy and toxicology report, there may be more charges. Charlottesville police are looking for tips about an attempted robbery that happened on Tuesday the 19th, just before noon. The owner of Kim's Market on Cherry Avenue reported this masked person tried to steal from a cash register, then ran off. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers at 434-977-4000.
The Charlottesville-based CFA Institute will pay out more than $300,000 in penalties for discriminatory hiring practices. The Justice Department said that CFA violated the law by preferring to hire certain visa holders over U.S. workers when selecting internal exam graders from its members. This happened between November 2016 and January 2018. CFA will pay those civil penalties, train employees on anti-discrimination policy, and be subject to Justice Department monitoring.
Home prices are on the rise as inventory across Central Virginia took a dip last month. The Long and Foster report for January out today shows the median sales price for the greater Charlottesville area is about $302,000, about 5% higher than this time last year. But in the city of Charlottesville, the average price is up 14% to $348,000 in the last year. The only area where the median price is down year over year is Albemarle County, down 10%. Although still at $320,000. Fluvanna continues to have the lowest median sales price at about $230,000.
The city of Charlottesville could get a little help with affordable housing. State lawmakers are taking action with at least one bill already approved by Governor Ralph Northam. NBC29's Carly Kempler spoke with affordable housing advocates. She joins us live in Charlottesville tonight with more. Hi, Carly.
Good evening, Casey. Some of these statewide efforts could impact Charlottesville immediately, but others, including a bill that gives landlords incentives to accept housing vouchers, does not apply here, at least not yet.
Well, the good news is that the affordable housing issue is a very live one in the General Assembly.
The General Assembly is putting $17 million of the state's budget to address affordable housing.
We're seeing a lot of interest in affordable housing throughout the Commonwealth, not just urban areas where you would expect it, but even rural areas.
One bill set to become law in July provides tax breaks for landlords who accept housing choice vouchers.
The problem is landlords are not required to accept housing choice vouchers. So in effect, a lot of families who receive them aren't able to actually find properties to live in.
The only problem, the tax breaks only apply in Richmond and areas around Norfolk.
The Norfolk bill passed this time. We may be able to do something for Charlottesville that's modeled on that next time.
Charlottesville area advocates hope this bill serves as an example for next session.
It would be a positive thing for Charlottesville. It wouldn't strike at the root of the problem or solve the affordable housing crisis, but it would help.
I do think moving forward, we're going to be much more ahead of the curve in terms of preparing our legislative packages, because we need to start not only doing research on these things, but finding what other community partners we have statewide.
Another bill awaiting the governor's approval could incentivize developers to build affordable units, and other efforts are underway to address inadequate zoning regulations.
I put in a bill this time that is going to be taken over for the year and studied by realtors and developers to see if there are things we can do about changing zoning in Charlottesville to make affordable housing more efficiently developed.
Now, out of that $17 million toward affordable housing, lawmakers added $3 million of it just last week. Communities will have to apply to the Virginia Housing Trust Fund in order to gain access to those funds.
All right, Carly Kempler live for us tonight. Thank you, Carly. Stanton is getting a financial boost to help tear down the old Western State building and develop Stanton Crossing. A $431,000 grant from the Virginia Brownfields Restoration and Economic Redevelopment Fund will help pay for the removal and disposal of hazardous material at that old hospital. The site along Richmond Avenue is in the middle of redevelopment, and 2 hotels are already open there. Economic development leaders say that demolition is set to begin this fall.
Power crews are getting the heat and lights back on for thousands of people in the area. The high winds bringing down trees and power lines all over the place. NBC29's Mariah Davis is live in Charlottesville with the latest. Hi, Mariah.
Hey there, Steve. About a dozen people living in this neighborhood on Hilltop Road in Charlottesville are hoping that their lights come back on sometime soon tonight. Now, if you take a look over here, this was the problem. They had a tree fall on a power line, and the power line was completely split in half. But right now, crews are out here working, and you can kind of see that they mostly have the power line back up, and they should probably be finishing up sometime soon here in just a little while. Now, it was a similar scene all across the NBC29 viewing area. Heavy gusts of wind Sunday and Monday, leaving a big mess. Earlier today in Waynesboro, contractors for Dominion Energy were hard at work along Florence Avenue. Trees came down there, bringing power lines down too. Jimmy Overton, who lives in Waynesboro, says he expects this type of weather. He expects this type of thing in rough weather.
The trees that we have in our on the property are at least 50 years old, and a lot of them are pine, and so they get real top heavy, and the root system doesn't go very deep, and so it's not unusual. We always keep our fingers crossed that there's not going to be a few trees come down.
In many places without power, that means internet and TV services may be down too. And right now at this point, Dominion Energy estimates at least a little more than 600 people are still waiting for the lights to come back on, and crews say that they should have everyone's power back on sometime tonight.
Mariah Davis live for us tonight in Charlottesville. Mariah, thank you.
Good to hear. Some crazy winds, really.
Oh my goodness, we had branches coming down all over the place last night especially.
Yeah, definitely. What can we expect this week, Eric?
Hey there, Casey and Steve. Thankfully, the ferocious winds are behind us, but really since yesterday afternoon through about midday today, these were some of the peak wind gusts across the region. Very common were gusts of 45, 55 miles an hour, and then you had some locations, of course, closer to and along the Blue Ridge. Shady Grove, which is in in Greene County near the Blue Ridge, 70 mile per hour gust. That's a high-end tropical storm force gust. And of course, Wintergreen up above 3,600 feet, an 81 mile per hour gust. That's a hurricane force wind gust. And certainly lots of damage. Thankfully, power crews are working to restore power and get things back up, and we thank them. Temperatures right now are in the 40s and 50s. Wind speeds will continue to come down, and it'll be a noticeably different day tomorrow with the lack of the wind. There's the view right now from our Charlottesville camera, and we're about 12 days away from the actual change of time when we revert back to daylight saving time. But right now we're 47 in Madison, 48 there in Charlottesville, 49 currently in Palmyra, and 41 in Stanton. We'll see temperatures tonight generally in the upper 20s to around 30. Noticeably lighter wind tomorrow, and temperatures generally in the middle 50s across central Virginia, low 50s in the Shenandoah Valley. Another dry day tomorrow, another dry day on Wednesday. Much of Thursday is dry as well. There'll still be some temperature fluctuations. We'll likely hold numbers in the upper 40s there Wednesday. More clouds roll in on Thursday ahead of the next storm system that'll bring rain by the end of the week. NBC29's exclusive dual-pole triple Doppler radar is a quiet scan here tonight. The combination of a deep area of low pressure, that's the storm that is now up toward Atlantic Canada, and high pressure building in from the upper Midwest created a big pressure gradient. Sort of the similarity if you're in the car, you put down the window, the air rushes in. Well, this is on a larger scale, but as that storm moves away and the high gets closer, the wind speeds come down, and thankfully the worst is behind us in terms of the wind. So temperatures tomorrow morning will start in the 20s to around 30. Nice day tomorrow for Tuesday. Many of us in the low and middle 50s. We'll slip back into the upper 20s as we start Wednesday. Wednesday, mix of sun and clouds, and for many of us, we'll hold numbers in the upper 40s to around 50 for the afternoon highs. So again, enjoy some quieter weather here the next couple of days, and dry, thankfully. Mostly clear, cold tonight, but less wind. We'll slip into the upper 20s. Here's a look at the Michael and Son 7-day forecast. Again, nice here, taking us through the midweek. Much of Thursday dry as well. Temperatures back in the 50s. Then very late on Thursday night into Friday, that's our next best chance of rain. Temperatures may warm a little bit more to start the weekend with still rain chances. Then we'll chill those numbers down by Sunday into the first part of next week. March rolls in on Friday.
A healthcare group with a hospital in Albemarle County is helping make sure food banks in Virginia can provide nutritious foods for low-income families. Centera Healthcare and Optima Health donated a $1 million grant to the Federation of Virginia Food Banks. The Federation says the money will be split between the 7 food bank regions in the state to improve access through direct service programs and partnerships.
We're very concerned that we need to make sure the quality of the food that we're providing supports good health. This grant will help us do that. But more than that, we need to make sure that we're reaching people who may not know that help is available and need it.
All of the regional food banks are currently in the planning stage to develop strategies. The Federation should know more about each region's plans later this spring.
Well, lots of postseason honors today for the William Monroe High School girls basketball team. You're going to hear from the ladies.
And UVA basketball moves up a spot in the latest AP poll out today. Here's what Coach Tony Bennett is saying about his guys. Next in sports.
We're in the final days of the Check Us Out sweepstakes. We've got some big prizes left yet to give. And tonight, a Wyndham Ultimate PT Queen mattress plus the Maloof base and many accessories from Monticello Mattress and More, a prize valued at $4,600. Let's find out who our winner is tonight from Monticello Mattress and More. A nice prize. We're going to reach in and find out who that lucky winner is tonight. And our winner is... It is Rosa Ayers of Charlottesville. Rosa Ayers of Charlottesville, winner tonight. Rosa Ayers.
The UVA basketball team moved up one spot today in the AP poll, now ranked number 2, one spot ahead of Duke. Gonzaga is the new number 1 ranked team in America. The Hoos play their next 2 games at home against Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh, who have combined to win just 6 ACC games.
Yeah, just be ready to play. We're in a race for, the conference, and every game is significant. Using practice in the right way at this time of year, I think, is important to be as prepared as you can, but trying to stay as physically and mentally fresh so that you can't underdo or overdo. You got to try to find the right spot.
DeAndre Hunter scored a career-high 26 points against Louisville Saturday. Jay Huff added 12 points off the bench. Both sophomores are hitting their stride after redshirting their first year.
the ability for guys to use that redshirt year to lift hard, to develop their skills. It's been a good formula for many programs and many players, in ours in particular, and those guys really I think have made the most of it.
Mamadi Diakite, sporting a new hairstyle and color, had 14 points against Louisville. He also had 3 blocks and now has at least 1 block shot in 19 straight games.
You'd like to play perfect defense all the time, but when there's a breakdown, to have someone back there that makes people think or just erases a mistake or ignites you with a play out of nowhere is significant, and Mamadi's done that on numerous occasions.
Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski says Zion Williamson's knee is getting better, but Williamson will not play tomorrow night in Duke's game in Blacksburg against 20th-ranked Virginia Tech. It'll be the second game Williamson has missed since suffering that injury against North Carolina. Coach K says Williamson is on a 4-step recovery schedule that Duke uses for knee injuries, and the school doesn't want to put any added pressure on Williamson to return as soon as possible. Despite missing much of the season with a broken foot, today William Monroe's Samantha Brunel was named the Region 3B Player of the Year. Her coach Jess Stafford was named the Region Coach of the Year. Brunel's teammates Brianna Wolfter and Martha Apple were both named First Team All-Region. Brunel talked about the honor this afternoon.
It means a lot. You know, this season has been, an up and down and took a path that I didn't expect to go down. So for me, this season came with a lot of personal growth, for myself, on and off the court.
When you have that many of your athletes awarded and honored, it's a testament to your team. And they all feel that way as well, because one could not accomplish what they do without the rest of them.
This is how the ladies ended practice today. All 7 girls have to make a shot. Brunel from NBA three-point range. Got it. That's a good sign. Monroe plays Parkview South Hill Friday in the state quarterfinal.
With the camera rolling to boot.
It's great.
Thanks, Marty.
We'll be right back.
More sunshine back for Tuesday, but noticeably lighter wind. We'll start in the upper 20s to around 30 in the morning and top out in the low and middle 50s for a nice Tuesday.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Nightly News is next.